The Iowa Hawkeyes are once again Big Ten West champions, and they did it their way. They did it the Hawkeye way. Whether you think it's ugly or beautiful, the bottom line is the black and gold are headed back to Indianapolis.
From LA to Piscataway, all Big Ten all year long. This is Big Ten 10.
Every college football season, there are teams that overcome a lot of adversities. Great stories. Iowa is this year's story. Iowa is the team that has overcome a lot of adversity. And yet they are here at 9-2 Big Ten West champions. And once again, for the second time in 3 years, they have a shot to win the Big Ten title. Cade McNamara, injured. Eric All and Luke Lachey out for the season. All those guys, they played a majority of this season without their quarterback and arguably their top two pass catchers. And then you talk about the gambling suspension of Noah Shannon, which was a crock from the very start, a starter on that defensive line. Brian Ferentz gets let go and announced he wasn't going to return late in the season. And then all of the criticism about their offense. Yet here they are, late in the season, playing their best football, and they are playing it their way. And that's exactly how this game went down against the Illinois Fighting Illini. I don't think the injury of Cooper DeJean really affected this game all that much. Phil Parker and this Iowa staff had some time to kind of game plan to figure out how to defend this Illinois offense without the All-American back there. And it was fairly simple. Whether it was going to be Luke Altmyer and John Paddock, I'll get to that whole situation here in just a minute. You knew Illinois was going to come out throwing the ball and throwing it often because that's what they did in order to have success both against Minnesota and Indiana their last two times out. Iowa did a great job not letting Illinois push the ball too deep down the field, not letting them get those shots down the field. They kept everything in front of them. A lot of pass attempts for John Paddock in this game. Not a ton of passing yards as it relates to just how many attempts that Paddock threw the ball. Nearly 50 passing attempts for John Paddock in this game, and not over 300 yards passing in this game for the Illinois Fighting Illini. So Iowa did a really good job in playing this Illinois offense. Neither team really ran the ball all that well. And it seemed for some of this game, late in this game, it was going to be, man, whoever had the better day passing the football. For a little bit, it looked like Illinois. But the thing about Iowa and what they did, they just hang around, and then make the big play at the end of the game. It's classic Iowa football. It's classic Iowa Hawkeye football, and that's the way they win, not only in this game, but in every single one of these games that they come out with a W. They don't impress you. It's not beautiful football per se, but they do just enough and hang around long enough and play good enough defense and play what they need to play on offense to be able to get the W in this one. Oh, Brett Bielema, you pulled the old switcheroo. You faked us out, didn't you? Right? Luke Altmyer healthy this week. He comes out in a press conference and says, Luke Altmyer is going to be our guy. Who do they trot out their first possession? The Illinois legend, John Paddock. First of all, I think that's the right decision. What Illinois did, trotting Paddock out there, he was the hot hand. Altmyer coming off of an injury. It made sense. It's just Brett Bielema playing a little bit mind games with everybody to try to trick him, when he kind of came in this game early. And I don't blame Beadle and Barry Lunny Jr. for what they did and then how they called this game, throwing the ball a ton. Like I said, neither team ran the ball awfully effectively in this game. Illinois needed to throw the ball to win. And then when you're facing an Iowa team playing like they did, where they keep everything in front of them and they don't get beat deep, it's going to be difficult. Because your offensive line isn't exactly the best in the Big Ten. You don't have the running game, right? Caden Fagan was not in this game, so you're going with Reggie Love. Although Reggie had a good game against Indiana, he did not have back-to-back performances. It seems like that has been something that has followed Reggie Love. He can put together a solid rushing performance, but maybe not consistently throughout the entire season. Let's talk about the Iowa Hawkeyes for a minute. I think Brian Ferentz did another good job in calling plays to get Deacon that confidence and momentum early in the passing game. I think that's been the thing that has been the difference since the news came down that Brian Ferentz was no longer going to be the offensive coordinator. It seems like after that point, Brian has put the ball into the hands of Deacon Hill, and they're throwing the ball a lot more. And I think that's equaling more confidence for Deacon Hill, and I think that's relating in better offense and a better offensive performance for the Iowa Hawkeyes right now. We talked about the run game. This run game wasn't great. I thought Illinois did a really good job in playing against the Hawkeye run. But like I said throughout this video, they did just enough. They hung around long enough to hit that big run. I want to talk about that big touchdown run by Caleb Johnson. Caleb Johnson had gotten hurt this season. Jazz Patterson, LeSean Williams kind of rose up to be the number one running back. And it was Caleb at the beginning of the year, right? Had a great second half to his freshman season last year. But, man, it felt really good to see Caleb not only get that touchdown run, but also get that big first down run that really put the game on ice later on in this football game. There are three very good running backs in this Iowa backfield. I think this offensive line is getting a little bit better and a little bit better. Look, they're not going to beat whoever they play in the Big Ten Championship. That's not going to happen. But this is still an Iowa team that can go 10-2. This is still an Iowa team that can win 11 games throughout this season. I think the run game is starting to get a little bit better. This offense is a little bit more balanced. Things aren't so much leaning on a run game. We got to get 150 yards. We got to get 175. Okay, it's not that anymore because Deacon is playing a little bit better in this past game right now. Let's talk about it. 4 minutes-ish left to go in the fourth quarter. There's a 4th and 2 for Illinois in their own territory. Like, this is a low-scoring game. All right? At this point in time, I believe the score is 13-9. You got to kick that ball away. There is still a good amount of time left on that clock. Look, I know there was the threat that I was going to run the ball and they're going to keep on getting first downs and maybe run out the clock. But you got to give yourselves a chance. And it almost seemed like Brett Bielema thought that might happen. And he didn't trust his defense to make the stop in that situation. He thought it was all or nothing right then and there to be able to get the first down and keep moving the ball down the field. Or maybe he trusted his defense enough at that position on the football field that he could hold this Iowa offense to a field goal. No matter which way you slice, and I love Brett Bielema. I think Bert has done a really good job turning this team around late in the season. That's a situation where you got to play field position, make Iowa go 30, 40, 50 yards to get into field goal range. Make them go further to get into the end zone. You got to make them earn it, I believe, in that situation if you're the Illinois Fighting Illini. I love what Iowa's doing right now. I love the way Iowa is playing at this point in the season. It's really fun to watch them on defense. This defense has really, there were some question marks, maybe at linebacker and some other spots coming into this season. But you look at Jay Higgins, where he is leading the Power 5 in tackles. You look at where Nick Jackson has risen to on the defense. How about Sebastian Castro and all these guys? This is yet another Phil Parker defense. Whoever they play in the Big Ten Championship, okay, I don't think this is going to be some steamroll type of situation. I could see this Iowa defense making life difficult, whether it's Michigan or whether it's Ohio State. I could see this defense making life difficult for whoever that team is coming out of the Big Ten East. I want to hear your thoughts on this game. Iowa, Big Ten West Division champions, overcoming a whole lot of adversity. Kirk Ferentz certainly has to be in the discussion for Big Ten Coach of the Year. Leave your thoughts, comments, everything Iowa, Illinois in the comments below. I'm Big Ten Ted. We'll see you in the next one.
Thanks for watching Big Ten Ted, where it's all Big Ten all year long. Make sure to like the video to spread the word of Big Ten Ted to the masses, and subscribe to the channel for updates on Big Ten content that drops every day.